And welcome everyone to Missouri Valley Conference Katz Chat right before Arch Madness. Pleased to be joined by MVC Commissioner Jeff Jackson. And Jeff, been covering the league all season. It's been a great year. Great things to come this week in St. Louis. Um, right off the bat, Drake Bradley, I would say unquestionable. Either one gets in, both get in. They can win games in the NCAA tournament. I'm not saying the others can't, but I feel very confident about those two. As you go into this tournament, where is your level of optimism about the top of your league, about how successful they can be this week and next?
Well, I think I'd probably add Northern Iowa to that conversation, Andy, just from the vantage point of I think Ben's done a terrific job. As we know, they've had some injuries that they've had to overcome. Bond came back and played a few minutes in their last game, Leon Bond. And so I think there's probably three teams that have separated themselves from the rest of the conference. But it's such a deep conference. It's such a well-balanced conference. To be quite honest, there's probably 6 or 7 teams that if they were to emerge victorious on Sunday, that wouldn't surprise me. And certainly the three teams we're talking about right now, Drake, Bradley, and Northern Iowa, are in that conversation.
So Drake obviously has the best profile to get in on their own merits. You know how this all works. What's your argument to whether or not they win it or not in St. Louis? Why Drake should be an NCAA tournament team?
Well, I'm not even sure it's an argument about whether or not they win it or not in St. Louis. I think Drake has already done everything that they need to do to be part of the NCAA tournament field. When you look at the fact that they've won 27 games, they have wins against the SEC, the Big 12, the ACC, a Florida Atlantic team that 2 years ago was in the Final Four, Miami team that was 2 years ago was in the Final Four. I don't think it's really a question of whether Drake is in. I think right now Drake is simply playing for seeding, and certainly if they're able to win Arch Madness, they'll be our AQ, our representative. But I'd be really surprised if there's much conversation about whether or not they should be an entry in the field. I think even going back to last year, and certainly I'm a little chafed about Indiana State, but Indiana State did not play the non-conference schedule that Drake played. And you also have to look at Drake differently, Andy, in terms of their style of play. They are not going to be metric darlings when it comes to offensive and defensive efficiency. Look, the best thing they do is they win games. They figure out how to win the game. And, as we like to say, you want to keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is trying to figure out how to win games. And I don't think anybody in the NCAA landscape of men's basketball has done that better this season than Drake.
What did the Drake administration get right that a lot of their schools clearly just were not paying attention in selecting Ben McCollum as their head coach?
I'm not sure other schools weren't paying attention, because I can tell you we had 5 jobs that were open in our league last spring, and his name was a common name for many of those opportunities. What I think Drake has done, obviously, a terrific choice and selection in hiring Ben. But maybe more than anything, I think their president, Marty Martin, their athletic director, Brian Harden, have done a terrific job of building a village at Drake where, not that it's as easy as plug and play, but whether you're talking about the support administratively, the support when it comes to their fan engagement, the things that you need to have as someone who once worked in that industry in order to assure that a coach has an opportunity to be successful. I think they've done a great job of building all those things at that institution. And as we all know, Des Moines is a great place to live. And so I think Drake is one of those programs that no matter who the coach is, they're going to find a pathway to success. And, with Ben and then previously with Darren, they certainly hit home runs in those selections.
So Bradley, Northern Iowa, you mentioned, there's great depth in this league. We'll see what happens, obviously, as it plays out. What is it about, and you in your short tenure there as the commissioner, what is it about this event that brings, the best, not only just in the teams, the coaches, the fans, that make it arguably one of the best conference tournaments year in and year out on the Champ Week calendar?
It's a great question, because when I first took the job, being somebody who, kind of steeped in basketball lore, you've always heard about Arch Madness. You always heard about the Missouri Valley Conference Championship. But until you're here with boots on the ground, you really don't understand the depth of it, how important it is to the St. Louis community, how important it is to our institutions, the level of play, how everything gets amped up. Having an opportunity to be in an enterprise center, the facility is first not. It's just like every single box is checked. And kudos to my predecessor, Doug Elgin, for having that kind of vision. I also think it's very helpful that St. Louis is kind of the geographic center of our conference where, nobody has to be, nobody's more than 5 hours away by car in terms of getting to St. Louis. So it's kind of a synergy of all those different things that have made it, as you stated, one of the unique opportunities in the collegiate landscape.
And lastly, Jeff, what's the value in really having a great TV window to really tip off? I know it's not the first one. We'll get the OVC Saturday night, but it's really the first national one that we see on a Sunday afternoon to really start that whole AQ Champ Week.
We have to thank our partners with CBS and obviously through a sub-license with ESPN, being able to play on that Sunday. And I think last year our number was 1.7 million. And I think we followed Iowa women and led into, I think, Indiana, maybe a Michigan schools, men's basketball. It's a great promotional. It's a great opportunity for people to see and understand and get a great feel of just how special the Missouri Valley Conference is. And for more times than not, the game has been, at the very least, entertaining and something, again, I think our partners value, and I can tell you our membership surely value the relationship that we have with CBS. And it is a great and a unique opportunity for a conference like ours to be able to partake in.
All right, can't wait. And I'm telling you, whoever wins this league is going to win games, or at least a game in the NCAA tournament. And you're right, Drake needs to be in there no matter what about the seeding. Appreciate you, Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Stay safe.